no great injury problems for either team, but a couple of little changes in each side. Take us through the
couple of minor changes, yeah. One for the Canberra side, of course. Ruben Wiki is out with a virus. He's actually gone to the fresh reserves bench, which is good news for Canberra. David Boyle comes in there. The impact players there, of course, Daly, Stewart and Bradley Clyde, and Steve Bowlers, Brett Mullins. Some thought there's a weakness on the wings in Nagus and Druka under the high ball. That's yet to be seen. And for the Sydney Bulldogs, there's been a forced change in the back row. Robert Ralph copped a bung eye last week, broken cheekbone. Stephen Price comes in for him. I thought that was a surprise. I thought Jason Smith might have got the nod, but he's on the bench as a fresh reserve. And a very strong looking forward pack there, Peter. Darren Britt and Dean Pay leading the way.
Yeah, you mentioned their strong forward pack. They really have led the way the last 2 weeks. And as we say at this time every year, really the domination up front sets up victories in finals matches. A man who knows about that better than anybody is our sideline eye, Steve Roach. Block, how do you see the forward battle?
Oh, I think it's going to be an outstanding game, as we saw last year in the grand final. These are the two forward packs that took them all the way to this grand final. Dean Pay, for mine, has been in outstanding form. It is the player of the semi-final series. I'm sure he'll have a big one. Along with Darren Britt, he'll lead the way there. But for mine, I think Bradley Clyde will be the man of the match. On kick returns, he's always first back there. This weather, there's going to be plenty of kicking. I think it's going to be an outstanding forward clash for Clyde to be the man of the match.
OK, it's a big call. Which way are you going, Paul?
And I've got to stick with Canberra. They've been one of the best sides all year, along with Manly. And I don't think it'll be too much in it, though. It'll be a fairly tight game. Bulldogs, a very aggressive and physical side, but Canberra to win, Pete. Yeah, Canberra do go into this game fairly strong favourites, but a lot of people think the weather will favour the Bulldogs. That remains to be seen. We're about to find out which is the first team to go through into next week's grand final. A great game this afternoon. The Raiders up against the Bulldogs. We'll take a break now and be back with all the action of this qualifying final.
And welcome back now to the Sydney Football Stadium, just awaiting the entry now of the two sides in this, the first qualifying final of the 1995 Winfield Cup. The crowd in a good mood, though there's been rain through the day. It hasn't dampened their spirits whatsoever. The blue and white army is here, and the Canberra colours are not to be outdone either. You can start to feel that this is the business end of proceedings. We've been here since March. We've come down now to 4 sides. Is it time to milk the Raiders? These and other questions will be known in the end of 80 minutes of rugby league. Just 2 will progress. Will it be the favourites Canberra, or will it be the Canterbury-Bankstown Bulldogs? Newcastle won reserve grade, 20 points to 0 against the Gold Coast. So Newcastle goes through to the grand final next weekend. Both these clubs have got magnificent grand final records. Canberra has been in the league 14 years, and 8 times they've been to the finals. Ricky Stewart brings them down what is fast becoming the famous walkway. And out they go onto the Sydney Football Stadium. First time in the finals this year. At Rugby League headquarters, one of the best Rugby League sides ever to grace the turf. John Lomax. Now Terry Lamb. Game number 327 for the great man today. There they are. They know what finals are all about. 15 times to finals since '73, 26 times since they joined the Rugby League. This is going to be a magnificent game. The atmosphere, sensational. It's impressive really in many ways today with the humidity. Eddie Ward is the man in charge, Martin Weeks and Kevin Russell on the sidelines. The 2 captains, Terry Lamb, winner of the Rothmans and a Dally M in the middle 80s, and Ricky Stewart emulated that in the early 90s. He added to it, of course, a Clive Churchill medal. Eddie Ward is the man with the whistle. Does that indicate that Eddie Ward is the #1 contender for the grand final? The man who guarantees the Bulldogs plenty of points is about to start, and he does that now. Halligan starts the first qualifying final, and Wesley comes back. Price was there. He's in the side. with Robert Ralph unfortunately injured last weekend. Of course, the Canterbury-Bankstown Bulldogs, they built their victory last weekend on concentrated and intense defence. They moved up and they really punished Brisbane. And they'll be out to do the same today, as Steve Walters will testify. 30 metres out from his own line, first use of the football with the green machine, and it's Stewart's boot for the first time in the game. Rolling over towards the sideline and retrieved there by Silver. Put away by the Canberra chase of Ken Magus. He was onside.
And in these conditions, that is the tactic. Brett Dallas slips out of dummy half, drive the football down, get a good chase, and then muscle up in defence. Stewart going low here. Matt Ryan tracking 4 and 5 Canberra defenders. This is going to be a great opening 10 minutes.
Now Darren Brett feels the impact of the Canberra defence off the shoulder of Brett Hetherington. And now the Bulldogs off the boot of Lamb. His kicking game opposed to Ricky Stewart could well decide the outcome here today. The ground would have to be greasy. Mullins out 15 from his own line, put away by the Dogs. Makes a dummy half, using Bradley Clyde for his second hit up of the game.
Well, Mounder knocked himself out in that tackle. Looking to go in as the third man was Nandruku. Can't make any metres. Mounder very slowly back into position. You'll see him come in on the right-hand side, left-hand side from that angle, and take the head of Dallas.
Steve Walters now directing the traffic, but he doesn't have to. The penalty goes to Canberra. It's against the markers. In fact, it was against the tackle of Price. He hung on too long, and then he gave David Furner a very light tap on the cheekbone. The Pollamount is not with us. This will be a body blow for the Bulldogs.
Well, it's not bad to be able to call on a bloke like Jason Smith to come into the team, but you don't want to lose anybody. You can see Craig Pollamount very, very sick after this head clash. May well be a blood bet. This will be interesting to see what the call is. The Raiders fine touch.
So Lamb will go to half-back. Dimmock will drop out to 5'8", and Jason Smith will go to the back of the scrum. Or would they try Jason Smith at 5'8"?
Well, he was a success there in the Origin series for Queensland, but I think the safer move for the Bulldogs would be to put him in at lock forward, and Dimmock's had a mile of experience in the 5'8" role.
Pollamount is a bloodman.
So David Furner, who led until the last 4 weeks of the Rothmans medal. Through to Stewart, the long ball for Daly. Lamb came up to try and shut Daly down. Silver is with it, and he's taken by Croker. Magus came over the top, second tackle. Dallas on for Halligan. 12 out from their line. To and fro, the pendulum swing. That is Simon Gillies. Phil Gould is with us in the box. He believes that Gillies has got a big job to do today, and that is to try and shut down Laurie Daly. 31 metres out from the Canterbury line. No score in the first quali-final. Dean Pay taken by Stewart. Question mark on the tackle. Eddie Ward's got a question mark on the tackle as well, I think.
Well, the question that needs to be answered is, did Ricky Stewart grab hold before he used the leg to trip? Of course, to do that is quite legal. As long as you make contact with the hands before using the leg as a lever, that's okay.
So here it is. Watch for the hands in relation to the legs. There's no doubt the leg goes out before the hands. Eddie Ward has penalised Ricky Stewart. Groan from the crowd.
Problem for the Raiders there, not only is the fact that it's a penalty against them, but it was late in the tackle count.
Martin Weeks was the touch judge making a report, and it's something to do with Dean Pay. Something did happen after after Ricky Stewart had made the tackle. There was a bit of a scuffle up. So a caution for Dean Pay. And Daryl Halligan now will find the line. He doesn't go for very much adventure. The tap will be taken by Hetherington, 5 metres on his side of the halfway, and Darren Britt goes up. And they come in and take him, but he offloads. Good work by the Dogs. 40 metres out from the Canberra line. Away now from Lamb. Jason Smith is on in 25. He's with the ball. He's under that tackle from Croker. Stewart goes to second marker. Jason Smith is not well. It's gone across for Dimmock. He angles Simon Gillies back in. The one eye on Smith, as the cameras have as well. This would be another body blow to Canberra.
What about the shot from Lomax there on pay?
Now they come to the right. For Dimmock to keep it fairly low, punching it into the corner, finds the line. It'll be the mandatory 10-metre scrum. And Jason Smith is not well in back play.
He'll be off to the blood bin as well. He's copped one. So 2 blood bins in a matter of minutes for the Doggies.
Ducked his head there, didn't he? And Jason Croker caught him high, totally accidental. And another strong start from Jason Croker. He's one of the fine players in the Winfield Cup who doesn't get the necessary kudos.
Well, I don't think Eddie's letting him go to the blood bin.
Well, if that's not blood, what is it? Back during the origin, I was wondering what he was pumping through the veins. Jason, he is playing so well. So, that is quite strange. As Daly kicks down the ground, Silver was standing shallow. Mullins is extending down the ground. Silver pulled down on the 20-metre line.
They need to get a quick play of the ball here, the Raiders. The Bulldogs, they want to have the Bulldogs players taking a long time to come back. That's 2 now. Very good tackle from the scrum win.
Gillies puts his hand up on the blind side. Then he's flung down by Lomax. Croker's been strong in defence. He's playing left centre defence. He's made a couple of punishing tackles. Well, Polomouta, he's about to come back on. Now they go across for Timu. 5 gone. Good tackle out there. Made by Laurie Daly. And he goes on with the work, Daly, trying to shut down the kick. Nagas, though, 25 off his own line, brings it out. Now, Price has been told to come off. No, Jason Smith has come off, and Polomouta has gone back on. This is Clyde now, 40 out from his own line. There's certainly no love lost in defence. These tackles are punishing, to say the least. Mandruku! 5 metres into Canterbury territory. Saw a half a chance. And now Wesley. David in the run-on side. They'll miss Quentin Pongia. Canberra now use Lomax to go back in. And now Stewart sets it up. They've reached 1/3 of the field. Now they come across to use the other 2/3. And Stewart's kick looks a bit... It looked a bit full, but it's come down perfectly. Silver, he has to bat it over the line. So Canberra will get it back.
Yeah, Silver always struggling to get to that football. And in the end, couldn't control it, stuck the Duke out. So Canberra in a good position here to try and get some points on the board. Jason Smith there, still that little bit of blood coming from his nose.
Phil Gould has joined us in the box. In fact, he's been here for 5 or 10 minutes, but he's just analysing what's happening out there. He is one of the very few people that has tipped Canterbury-Bankstown.
Yeah, I think they've got a tremendous chance, Ray, particularly when we've got a little bit of rain around. Terry Lamb, one of the best wet weather players in the game. His tactics are superb. Canberra, the first few times they've got the ball, have been keen to get the ball across to Daryl Halligan's wing. The fact that now that Craig Polomouta not there, he's been protecting his centres in defence in recent weeks, has meant an adjustment in the Canterbury side. And Canberra are quick to find that out.
Terry Lamb has been... Well, it's not Terry Lamb, but it's Darren Britt. This is for not letting the player to his feet to play the ball, and they'll take the shot.
Good work there from young Brett Hetherington, making a real effort to get up quickly and play the ball. Wasn't allowed to do so. Darren Britt coming in a little bit late. Not a difficult conversion attempt here for David Furner.
Just going back to that scrum win, Peter, when Canberra kicked on the second tackle, the idea there was to get the fullback Rod Silver to make a tackle and then get Mullins on Halligan down the right-hand side of the field. Unfortunately for Canberra, Silver went in to make the tackle. Lamb came across with Smith, able to push him out, and Silver was back there to get the ball. But it still keeps you guessing, doesn't it? It makes Daryl Halligan very, very nervous to know that he's got speed men out there prepared to kick and chase on him.
Furner now. 17 metres out. He's only just off centre. He has hooked it. It's hit the post, come back into the field of play, and Dean Pay takes it out to the 20. Whenever I see that happen in rugby league, I immediately think back to Ray Price. He used to stand expectantly, thinking that every kick was going to hit the uprights. Such was his intensity.
Yeah, never caught one either. As soon as he started doing it, never hit the post. This is a good penalty for the Bulldogs now. Second tackle. Been awarded one centre field. Daryl Halligan again doesn't find a great deal of distance, but they don't have any points against them, and they do have possession.
Well, it's been two good penalties for Canterbury. They have what they call a good penalty. Canberra second tackle inside the quarter early in the game. You don't want to concede a try this early. David Furner hasn't been in great form with the boots. They took the odds to giving him a shot at goal. They've come up winners in this occasion.
Now they go around the back to Lamb to give it on, for Polomata to turn it in for Timu. Timu has wrestled down. Stewart has been busy in defence. That time he made the tackle with Clyde. Now with Dimmick. Dimmick tries to bust through. He had a superb game here last weekend. Does he ever have a bad one, really? Now with Lamb, and Lamb puts it on the ground for Ryan and Dallas to chase, and it goes in touch in goal. Come back to the centre of the 20-metre line for the restart as Tim Sheens watches on.
Very important kicking game for Canterbury today. I don't think you'll see a lot of ball go down the middle and give Brett Mullins an option. They'll be kicking in behind Nadruku and Nagus, making the chasers come down and try and be there when the ball arrives with those players. You won't see Brett Mullins with a lot of free running from broken play on the kick chase today.
Dean Pay getting a good tackle on David Furner. Brought some applause from his teammates. Lomax bumps away from a tackle, and then it goes back to Wesley, and look at Canterbury. They're doing what they did last Sunday.
Yes, strong tackle there from Stephen Price.
Daly tries to put Mullins through an opening. Mullins, blue and white jumpers hanging off him. Ryan in the centre is playing minus the headgear today. Stewart kicks down the ground. Clyde is offside, and so is Croker. It's not going to matter because Dallas has gone 10 metres. He runs right across the ground, and David Boyle smashes him into the turf. Now for Halligan. 15 off their own line. No score. We've had 13 minutes of the first qualifying final. That's what they're calling it. Centre of the 20-metre line. Bulldogs end. Darren Brett gets a pass away. Croker accepts it, and Croker will play it. They'll stretch it quickly. Stewart decides to run himself. Ran into Dean Pay, and Pay puts him on the ground again. Walters now. Hetherington chimes in. Price gets a shoulder on him. But Canberra now on their third tackle. Walters works menacingly with Furner. The ball goes to ground, and there's a knock-on. Good defence by Canterbury-Bankstown.
Doing some great defence out there from both sides. Brad Clyde just came up with a super tackle, and it was followed up on the far side by Stephen Price. He's losing nothing out there with his more illustrious company. David Wesley tried to pick the ball up. Better option would have been just to dive on it, maintain possession. A little knock-on picked up by the referee. Lamb feeds on his own 20-metre line.
When you're playing against Canberra, it's a minute-by-minute assignment for the full 80 minutes of the game. There's going to be periods of the game where Canberra are handling the ball well, making you look silly, making little inroads. You've just got to hang in there, hold them out, and wait for your opportunity with the ball again. And this is going to go on all day. But Canterbury are a good side that will just hold on and can come back with their own at the right end of the field.
Oh, Gillies! Gillies! It was a Catherine wheel, and he landed on his melon. He's okay. Daly. That's David Boyle now. They're inside the 30-metre line. Spectacular stuff. Nothing illegal. Hetherington Canberra, their fans on the edge of the seat now. Have they got good cause? Daly, Clyde. Now the last. That's how close they are. Blindside. Daly got it away. Stewart puts the kick in, and Silver consummately there to take it back.
Touch judge has come in from the far side. He's seen something in the back plate. He raced in there.
Well, this is obviously something to do with Canterbury offending, because the touch judges let the attacking side have all the opportunity.
Yeah, early in the play there, when Canberra fell on the loose ball, they spread immediately to Halligan's wing. Laurie Daly unhanded to Boyle and then went to go around him to receive the pass, but John Timu, I believe, held on to him, and this is what the penalty before.
Oh, what about that?
Simon Gillies doing a 2.5-foot pike.
Well, he'd have got to start in the first in Adelaide today with a jump like that. What was it? You'd know, number 9, whatever it was.
This will be a penalty for John Timu holding back Laurie Daly after he unloaded a good pass to David Boyle. There's a bit of a chance on for Canberra. Timu took the odds to holding Daly back.
There's the offender. Former All Black.
It was a very good sign for the Bulldogs there, that set of 6, wasn't it? But you almost had the Canberra players. This is the incident. Terry Lamb was actually holding back Laurie Daly, and Daly appealed straight to the touch judge. During this set of 6, at times Canberra really looked to be devoid of ideas. The defence was that good coming up both sides of the ruck.
Very strange decision to kick for goal. He may well kick this, but it's not a high percentage shot for him. And to miss it would give Canterbury a lot more confidence again. To know they've held them out and missed it 2 shots at goal.
Well, here he comes from 29 out. Oh, nowhere near it, David Furner. Silver.
Oh, great tackle.
What a tackle.
David Boyle, unbelievable stuff. There was no way known he could make the tackle one-on-one against Rod Silver there and keep him in the in-goal area. And somehow, sheer strength and determination, he has done so. An enormous play.
That's a heartbreaker for Canterbury. Rod Silver, very, very good on his feet, can beat a man, but not strong once he's contained in a tackle and unable to force his way out there. And the advantage that may have been won from missing a goal has now turned into another set of 6 defence.
Low match now. Quarter. Silver might be reminded in future that the quickest way from point to point is straight ahead. Instead of trying to put on the fancy stuff in goal, get back into the field of play first. Walters draped around his legs is Brett. Now Furner. Edrington's with him. Furner's 15 out. They're close. Now Daly's on the blind side. He grabs ahead. Dallas has got work to do, and he does it.
Oh, yeah, great work, Brett Dallas. Good chance there for the Canberra side.
Yeah, well, bad news for the Canberra side is that side. That's Ricky Stewart flat on his back. Winded. Jason Hetherington cleaned him up. Daly, a little kick through. Ryan was grasping. Croker chasing, so too Clyde. Great shots that. Dallas, very safe, bats it over.
Well, but you like, so I just watching Canberra for the first 20 minutes as we see Stewart get poleaxed. The precision and timing they normally have in all their plays seems to be missing.
I don't think it's the weak off ball. I think it's the opposition.
Intensity of the defence.
19 minutes gone in the match. Wesley rolls the attack on. 10 out from the line. Can Canterbury hold them again? Daly works with Clyde. Clyde has his legs ripped from under him by Terry Lamb. To the wide blind again for Furner. Back and away for Croker. Held by Dallas, able to unload. Daly works into the centre, then comes out for Mullins. Mullins does the stepping. Mullins is pulled down. 3 metres out from the line. Walters across for Stewart. Long pass. Halligan went for the intercept. It'll be interesting, this call. It'll be interesting, the call from the touch judge.
Well, I thought Canberra should have got a penalty under the post there. I know he played advantage. But Simon Gillies made a try-saver on Brett Mullins and then pushed him over in to play the ball.
Gee, they were lucky there, Canterbury, with John Timu sprinting up off his line in defence, leaving a big gap. Canberra couldn't find it.
It was on the last tackle, and the referee applied the turnover for Canterbury.
Canterbury's just got to put that little period of play out of their mind now. They've done well, 20 minutes into the game, still no score. Canberra had all the opportunities, couple of kicks at goal. Terry Lamb will just drive it downfield now, and we'll start all over again.
Nandruku back on his own line. 15 metres off his own line. That run ends for Nandruku. To the blind goes David Boyle. Beautiful tackle by Timu. Over the top was Lamb. Again Nandruku. 40 metres out from his line.
It looked like being a blow with no Ruben Wiki. Tim Sheen's made it very clear that he had complete confidence in David Boyle, and that has really been justified in these opening stages. He's been close to the best player out there, Boyle.
Clyde. The big man got it away. Vautin on the halfway line. Penalty, this time to the Bulldogs.
Well, the game's been all Canberra up to this point. Canterbury, good kick and chase, set of 6 defence there. Now they get the opportunity to settle down, put the ball out, come in with a good set of 6.
Oh, well, they might off the goal now. Unbelievable stuff here from Canberra. They've been penalised for back-chatting. Disputing the call. Steve Wallace was penalised for not getting to his feet to play the ball because he definitely touched it with his foot. The referee has told Steve Wallace it's the second time he's been guilty of that in the game. He wasn't going to let him get away with another one.
Let's have a look at the play the ball and see whether they're... Well, I believe the referee was right in that particular instance. But so often he could use the other viewpoint, and that is that the tackler or the marker wouldn't allow the player up to play it.
And here's a man going for his 16th consecutive goal kick.
Halligan from 40 metres out, and that is rare. Mullins loses his footing. Gillies wraps him up. Furner. Hustled up by Gillies again. And the penalty goes to Canberra. It's against Simon Gillies. Let the aggression run a little bit too long.
Plenty of feeling out there between these two sides. Canterbury still embarrassed from last year's grand final defeat. 36-12 at the hands of Canberra. They wouldn't have forgotten that. Simon Gillies has had a great first stanza, plenty of good defence, a great tackle on Mullins a few minutes ago to save a try.
They played at Parramatta Stadium this year in round 6, these two clubs, and Canberra won 16-6. Now a mistake by Canberra.
Mitch Newton in 28 is on for the Bulldogs. Darren Britt is off. Dean Pay, tackle 39 out, 40 out, opponent's line.
Pay's head hit the ground heavily. Newton now in jumper 28. 33 metres away from the Canberra line. The long ball finds Lamb. Then Polymouta, and he goes through an opening. The centres came up quickly. Silva, now Terry Lamb, he scores. He is a magician. Best support player in rugby league.
And he proves it every week. Some bad defence by Canberra out wide allowed Craig Polymouta to slice through. They've gone wide. That's Polymouta now. As he throws stomach with freeze play there, this player has stayed with his outside man. The inside man didn't have the pace. And as play continues, straight through Polymouta. Beat a couple of despairing dives. Got Silva backing up on the inside. The big step to beat Daly, and a beautiful around the corner pass to Terry Lamb.
There's more drama here for Canberra.
Now Croker has been sent to the bin for 10 minutes.
have been some disputing, maybe someone held back in the play. Gets his 10. That's as good a try as we've seen in the semi-final series.
Well, Daryl Halligan has no trouble with those, and Canterbury-Bankstown lead Canberra 6-0 after 25. Back at the Sydney Football Stadium. First tackle on the new set. Polomouta. Dimmick now. Hetherington. Now you're probably wondering why Jason Croker. Here's a chance for Canberra. Lomax away from Hetherington. On the bounce for Clyde. Through two. Brushes away from them. He beat a third. And then Pay comes over the top. 30 metres out from the line. Stay with this. Croker will come back to in a moment. Lomax just inside the 20. Stewart goes from open to blind. And now Furner. Out comes the ball again, and Dean Pay falls on it.
Well, they're really rattled, Canberra. Not kicking out on the full from a penalty restart. The last time they tried to ruck the ball out of their own territory, they were very bunched with hands on hips. And now they're really looking to one or two players to try to do something. A lot of hands on hips and head shaking, and they're 6 points behind. The whole game has been at Canterbury's end of the field. They've defended very, very well. They've niggled away at Canberra, got the try that mattered. They're 6 in front. Now it's just a game of patience.
Here's Dimmick. Jason Smith is about to go on. Might just backtrack to the reason that Croker finished up in the sin bin. Price. Now, the player to watch is the man that just passed the ball. That is Polomouta. Now, the referee has alleged that Polomouta was in fact interfered with.
Well, he wasn't even looking at it.
And then there seems to be a little hint that maybe Croker used his knee in the next shot, but I personally think it was a pretty tough call. Now this mistake brings us back to the scrum. And it's Canterbury-Bankstown's Dean Pay leaving the ground as the ball is worked away from the scrum area for Polomouta to link up with Silva. They go out for Matthew Ryan. Clyde's come across. Ah, he's a great back rower. Now Ward has called them back. Going to pack a scrum.
That was even greater work from Bradley Clyde. I think he forgot that Canberra were down to 12 men. Jason Croker in the bin left Canberra's line short. But making up for his mistake, he's come from the far side of the field. That's a Ron Coote style tackle. Absolutely sensational.
And then the mistake made by Matt Ryan, who tapped the ball on the mark, and then he was forced to scrum, and the Canberra feet, and away they go.
It was a bad miss there by Ken Davis, wasn't it? Just beaten all ends up by Ryan, and it was just a very ineffective attempt.
Canberra keep up the wrap to the right with Hetherington playing it. Lomax chimes in. Walters now brings it back to the open side. Furner is the ball carrier. Just into Canterbury's half. Walters goes for his first run of the game. That brought him a reward, and now it's Boyle. 32 metres out, tackle 5. Stewart to the air and across. Dallas is under it, allowed it to bounce, and it came off the chest of Nagus. Canterbury get the benefit of the referee's interpretation, which was right. Sideline comment from Steve Roach.
Well, the Raiders in all sorts of trouble here. They want to get on with the game. There's 5 or 6 players arguing with the referee all the time. Admittedly, the Bulldogs are baiting them, but they're retaliating.
10 minutes to go. First half. Penalty goes to Canterbury. This is Hetherington on the 40-metre line. Newton. Wide. Turned himself into a missile for that tackle. Eventually Newton is pulled down and he's lost the ball. And Canterbury get a penalty.
That's great stuff by Mitch Newton. He carted a couple of them about 10 metres there. A big hit by Clyde initially. As Ward talks to Hetherington, Brett Hetherington that is. Look at him just standing like a colossus there. Those sort of runs lift the rest of the Canterbury side. They can say to themselves, if Mitch can do that, so can I.
Interesting to note that Canberra has only beaten Canterbury in finals matches on one occasion. I think they've met on 3 occasions. So they go across now through Jason Smith, who was out at 5'8", and Polamatta is tackled on the 30-metre line. 6-0 in favour of the Bulldogs. Jason Smith one more time. 25 metres out from Canberra's line. Out with Dimmick. He dummies to Lamb. He kicks out wide. He's looking for Dallas. The bounce has beaten Mullins. The bounce has beaten Mullins. I think it's a try. It is. It's a try to Canterbury-Bankstown.
Well, the kick was so successful for them last week. Why not try it again? And Jim Dimmick, who put one on for Matt Ryan last week, has found open space. Ken Nagus has shown no urgency in this game whatsoever. Mullins was beaten by the bounce. Simon Gillies, who's just worked the joint down all afternoon, gets a rare try, but a sweet one.
A nice hit by Dimmick. A bad bounce for Canberra. Let me tell you, no cover defence whatsoever back on the inside. He was on his pat there, Brett Mullins, and Gillies, he's had a great game for the Doggies.
No drama with the try too. I'm glad to see and glad to report. Simon Gillies, 13 tries, comes from down in the Murrumbidgee irrigation area.
He's a Yanko boy, fine schoolboy player down there. When I say he doesn't score many tries, I think he got the match winner last week, or the one that really sealed it for them. So that's 2 in 2 weeks.
Comes from the same area as David Barnhill, Rod Maybon. And Daryl Halligan now. Will be in one way happy that he's got the monkey off his back for the most consecutive goals in rugby league. That doesn't look too bad, but it's just outside. So, Canterbury-Bankstown leading Canberra 10-0. Leading Canberra 10-0. First qualifying final, the Winfield Cup. Tomorrow, Manly versus Newcastle. Newton driving the attack to the 30-metre line and then being forced back by a concentrated Canberra defence. This is the try scorer, Simon Gillies. He scored at the 32nd minute. Terry Lamb scored a classic rugby league try at the 24th minute. Hetherington promotes. Silva advances, then unloads. Lamb supports and unloads. Newton gives. Polamatta pushes on. Smith across. Ryan puts it on the boot inside the 20-metre line. And Canberra's Noah Nandruku perilously close to the sideline. Passes ordinarily.
That's Croker back on now, so they're back to their full complement, the Raiders. They're having all sorts of problems. That's Nandruku, who did some miracle stepping a minute ago to keep them in the field of play.
It's good work, though, from Canterbury, isn't it? We've seen Cronulla in the past couple of semi-final weeks get to a big lead, try to protect it and get run down. Canterbury are running Canberra around and making sure their attacking powers, I mean the Nandrukas and the Nagases and the Mullins, are coming up with plenty of effort in defence. That way they've got their hands on their hips when they retrieve the ball again, and you're not under as much pressure next time they get it. Canterbury have got to remain very, very positive, and that little passage of play indicates they're prepared to go right on with this.
Halligan now. Down the ground, David Boyle again. He's had a magnificent first half. David Boyle 10 metres out from the Bulldogs line now. Dallas has to fall in from the right wing. Sporting the new haircut. Canterbury offers Canberra a chance. 3.5 minutes to the break. To the right for Stewart. And he's smashed by the defence on the 20-metre line. They're keeping a watchful eye on Ricky Stewart. Now, Brett Hetherington. Out it comes. Picked up by Matthew Ryan.
That's a bad sign for Canberra. Early in the game, they fell on 2 loose balls and were immediately in position to spread the ball wide to Laurie Dale and get going. That time they fell on a loose ball in terrific position. Ricky Stewart left posted, got belted. 2 tackles later turned the ball over. They're right off their game today.
Now Dimmick shovels it out. Gillies bats it down. Lamb's pass in front of Timu. Halligan retrieves the drag. 30 metres out from the Canterbury line. They lead 10-0 against Canberra. Price. Raging hot favourites Canberra to win it. They're in trouble. Newton on the halfway line. Long ball from Lamb for Polamalu and Smith and Ryan. And now Dallas, he kicks into the centre. Lamb is after it. The bounce, oh, a save. A save by Nandruku.
Yeah, great save, but trouble for Canterbury. Brett Dallas, as soon as he kicked that football, he's gone to ground, clutching it, a knee or a hamstring. Just watch him. Watch him now. And he's dropping out of the race.
Well, it's a save there, but with two minutes left on the clock, it will be a save for just a short period of time. Well, it's just got a little bit of a hit around the head there from Brett Mullins. It didn't appear too much. I don't think there's any problem there at all, but he's leaving the field.
So, the Bulldogs, they press onward, and they come in, they umbrella in. If Timu could have got that away, there was more trouble. Now, they go to the left. They turn it into the centre. Gillies is with it.
Very worst, I'd be thinking field goal if they can't score the try.
Jason Smith. 10-0. 1.5 on the clock. Lamb, he goes for it. He gets it. Another point. Sterling read it. And Terry Lamb provided it. 11-0 now.
Yes, well, they didn't go for the try only a minute before the half-time. That's a little point for them. The Bulldogs nearly caught the football. 11-0, great lead for the Doggies at half-time.
Inside the last minute. Terry Lamb, a try and a field goal. Celebrated his 34th birthday yesterday. Getting a bit of age on you makes you feel better, doesn't it? Terry Lamb playing like he is at 34 years of age. Make it come back yourself, fat man.
No, thanks, Reps.
20 metres out for Dimmick to play it. This will be the last set of 6. Newton. Jason Hetherington's kick. Mullins. You see, Canterbury has got Canberra where they were hoping to have them. And hoping that, of course, the fact that they're trailing might breed some frustration and knock the green machine off their normal game. Half-time, Sydney Bulldogs 11, Canberra no score, 2 tries to nothing. Lamb at the 24th, Gillies at the 32nd. We have got one hell of a match here. We'll take a break and then we'll come back. Peter and Paul will summarise. Of course, the second half is about 10 minutes away.
Uncompromising is probably the best way to describe the Sydney Bulldogs' effort here in the first half. In our first qualifying final, 11 points to 0. They lead the Canberra Raiders. A tremendous first half, and there are the statistics. Don't be fooled by held for 6 tackles for the Bulldogs. They've had the ball 22 times, but they've kicked early in the tackle count. They've held on to possession quite well, especially compared to the Raiders, who've had 7 handling errors, and a lot of those in their opponent's 20-metre area. A very bad performance from the Raiders with their high expectations, and they've got quite a job to do in this second half, Paul. Just a strong defensive performance once again. And the one thing that I thought was quite noticeable, no quick play of the balls. The likes of Gillies getting in, holding down.
That's right, Pete. Defence is winning this game for the Canterbury side. What they're doing, they're making sure that every Canberra player actually goes on the deck when they're tackled. There's no fancy stuff or letting them stand up and you know, play the ball quickly, putting them on deck, and that makes it very hard for these big Canberra forwards to keep getting the momentum going in the match. So Canterbury defending so well. Well,
time and time again, we see sides weather storms, get to the other end of the field and put the first points on. That's exactly what the Bulldogs did in this game, and it was a cracking try. Some good support play, Silver featuring, so too Terry Lamb.
This is nearly the best try I've seen in the last few weeks in the semi-finals, and some great work done. You don't see Bradley Clyde let too many players get around him. Polamauta's got the speed. Clyde made a move in there looking for the decoy back on the inside, and Polamautta shouldering players out of the way, and Silver backing up, and just watch the old bar, 34-year-old legs trailing up on the inside and right under the sticks where Terry loves to score them.
Now, compounding the problems there for the Raiders during the course of that try being scored, Jason Croker was deemed to have come up with an offence worthy of 10 minutes in the bin. It's a difficult call here, but Martin Weeks coming in, the touch judge coming in, left no doubt in the referee's mind that he had to go.
No, he's here, so just watch for the number 3, Jason Croker. He's chasing hard. Now, he's trying to get, you know, make a tackle. He did push him out of the way, and then there's a hint of a knee there in as well. But Eddie Ward couldn't have sent him off for the knee to the bin. But that's not a professional foul. That's foul play rather than being a professional foul.
Well, that was the decision. The knee was the problem. He's actually been placed on report for
right,
that kneeing incident. So Croker, who's had a fine first half, apart from that 10 minutes, that was a real problem for the Raiders. As too was the next try being scored by the Bulldogs. Beautiful kick from Jim Dimmick. So many tries being scored from the kick in this final series. And again, Jim Dimmick, beautiful placement.
They've had plenty of luck with kicks, haven't they, the Bulldogs? And once again, the good bounce favoured them here. And this is scored, of course, while Croker was off. Canberra down to 12 men. And here's Dimmick with the little one. As I said in the call, look at all the Canberra players. They stopped, they looked and did nothing. No cover defence there. Look, they might not have got there anyway, but Gillies the man on the spot. But you've got to put the effort in to try and get there, and they didn't do that on that occasion.
Well, at 10-0, things could have been a little bit worse for the Raiders because Daryl Halligan hadn't converted a couple of attempts. 2 minutes left on the clock. They find themselves with a set of 6. Terry Lamb didn't wait for the full complement of tackles. He banged the field goal over. In the back of Terry's mind, he might think that's going to be a fairly important point later in this game.
Well, this is Mr. Experience himself coming out here. 10-0, why not make it 11 as they go to the break? And he hit it quite well, and over she went. And look, it's 11-0, and Canberra, I tell you what, they are in trouble. The Bulldog nearly catches that, well done. But they're in trouble. They're not playing well. They're not communicating, obviously, out there between themselves. They're missing a few tackles, and they've got a lot of work to do.
Well, they're a champion side, and they are the reigning premiers. They will not lie down in this second half. They'll be back very, very strongly. The Bulldogs know that will be the case, so 11 points, they'll need to build on that. They can't win this game just scoring 11 points. The Doggies come back out now with 40 minutes until maybe the grand final against either Manly or Newcastle.
They've been to 13 grand finals. The Bulldogs, they've won 6 of them. It's 1995. Another year for the Bulldogs to make an appearance on the big day of the year.
2 front rowers doing their job for the Canberra side, especially in the defensive department. And Lomax, he's been a very strong call for them. 11 hit-ups as well. Bradley Clyde, 10 and 8. The Sydney Bulldogs team. Simon Gillies, he was their best in the first half of mine. 17 tackles, 6 hit-ups. And Jim Dimmick has been very constructive around the rucks, 9 hit-ups for him.
So an overcast day in Sydney where we had steady rain for most of the night and through the morning. That has now left us. As we go into the second half, David Furner's restart. And Dimmick sends Price back to them. And we're out on the 20-metre line. So 11 points in front. 40 minutes of football remaining. And I would imagine one of the things that Tim Sheens was talking about at half-time was, you can argue all you like, but you're not going to change the referee's mind. And there did seem to be almost a procession of backchat from Canberra in the first half. I'm not saying the referee was right, but you're not going to win. Now, the Bulldogs go to the right, and then they come back in before going out again. And Gillies is tackled on the 30-metre line. Back and across now with Polomata to Smith. Price. And Druku. Put down by Stephen Price.
There again is what Phil Gould was pointing out in the first half, of the bad passes thrown. No line for the Raiders to go through straight away. And Jason Hetherington on the first tackle takes it within 12.
Now, go to the spaces on the right of the ground. Dimmick. 10 metres out from the line. They continue on the right of the ground with Gillies. 5 metres out. Dimmick's pass knocked down.
Well, a double knock on there has been called play on by the referees. Ricky Stewart coming up with it. Boyle taken and a Croker. It's going to be penalised too high.
I don't think he called a knock on. I think he's saying it came off one of the Canberra players' chests. But on that picture, it dead set came off Ricky Stewart's hand.
It should have been a scrum. It should have been a scrum, and it should have been a Canterbury feed.
I've got to say, if Bradley Clyde wasn't out on the field for this Canberra side, the game would be over.
Only 1 minute into the second half, and Ricky Stewart out in the defence line there was absolutely yelling at his forwards to get in tighter in the ruck, and they were walking with their hands on their hips. You'd have to think that Tim Sheens had something to say at half-time about the ineptness of their performance. It certainly hasn't hit home at this stage. Maybe Canterbury will have to give them a reminder.
Wesley greeted by the Canterbury defence. Steve Walters now pulled down by Newton. Right on the halfway line. Boyle in 15 for Stewart. Across for Daly. Daly hasn't had a chance to weave that magic of his. Penalty goes to Canberra. This will help them.
Good work by Daly in getting that penalty. What he does, Laurie, in situations like that, he gets his hand out, puts the ball on the ground, showing the referee that he's ready to play it. And he wasn't allowed to get up, so they get the penalty.
The best way for Canberra to get back into this game is to string together a couple of sets of 6. We haven't seen them do that in the 44 minutes in this game played so far. They can go 6 here. If they don't score, get into the in-goal area. They're a real chance. Daly keeping it to Clyde.
Clyde, like so many before him, flung to the ground. Now, David Wesley, 25 metres away from the Canterbury line. Lomax. 18 metres out now. They come on the blind side. Stewart inside for Furner. Furner to Mullins. Mullins. He's over. Here they come. Here comes the Raiders.
Well, they made a mistake the first time they got possession in this half. They have it at this end of the field. Stewart going to blind. As we freeze play there, what he has done by coming across here is deliberately opened something up on the inside. These players are decoys out here. As play continues, he invariably finds David Furner. A little bit of lazy defence there. A couple of players reacting too late. Jim Dimmick didn't realise there was trouble until it was too late. And a little bit of space up the middle is always going to be exploited by the likes of Furner and Mullins.
This is the Raiders we all know. Pet play there from the Raiders. And the Bulldogs defence didn't move up both sides of the ruck. Dimmick a little bit lazy, left the gap. And Brett Mullins, he doesn't need much of a gap to get through. He was onto that ball full steam ahead.
David Furner. His third kick at goal. That looks better. Furner gets the goal. 11-6 the score. Still the Bulldogs. Back at the Sydney Football Stadium. And Canberra on the board. Mullins a try, converted by Furner. They trail 11-6 against Canterbury-Bankstown. Stewart's kick. Bringing it back now as Silver. Beats Croker's attempted tackle.
He's hurt himself too, Jason Croker, in that attempt. Dislocated a finger as Halligan takes it first pass. Anything he's going to lift aside, it's putting points on the board.
Now Gillies. Well, with that try coming so quickly in the second half, we haven't had a chance to touch base with Steve Roach. Knock on by Canterbury. Another opportunity coming for Canberra, Steve.
Yeah, well, that's a big thing that Tim Sheen's talked about at half-time, that his side, the Canberra Raiders, would have to be the first to score. That happened. He said they're a little bit rusty in the first half. They've got to lift their rate. He said nothing's gone your way. It's all gone against the Raiders in the first half. It will turn around. They must get numbers in defence. A couple of times Canterbury has shifted the ball and got them out wide. For the Doggies, Chris Anderson very happy. He said just cover up on the inside. As that try just scored by Mullins, that's where he thinks the only way that they can make them breaks on the inside. He said get back and help Silver a little bit more. Keep running the Raiders around. There's plenty of gaps out wide, and Smith is just a genius at getting in and making that extra man for the Canterbury-Bankstown side.
Well, the referee's got a call here from his touch judge about a knock-on from Brett Hetherington, but how that can be a knock-on, I cannot fathom.
So the Bulldogs winning the scrum, and Timu is tackled. Just correcting something we told you at half-time. Tomorrow's second qualifying final will be seen live in Brisbane at 2:30. So you people in Brisbane, you will see tomorrow's match live on Channel 9 at 2:30. As Canterbury come back to the halfway line, and now they go quickly onto the left of the ground, and Gillies it is who's put down 40 metres away from the Canberra line. Now from Timu, goes through from Lamb and on for Dimmock, and Dimmock kicks. Not offered a great chase, although Matthew Ryan is down there on it now. Jason Williams, of course, came on for Brett Dallas.
Two important parts in that set of six. Number one, 5 points is a very nervous lead, but Terry Lamb refused to let Canterbury be negative. He moved the ball from one side of the field, was involved 3 times in the set of six, and then the kick down again behind Nagas, keeping the ball well away from Mullins. They don't want to kick the ball to him. They've been very good at it, but it's an 80-minute game. You give him one opportunity, he'll be on the other end of the scoreboard.
David Wesley. 28 metres away from the Canberra line, and Walters again runs from dummy half, and they are valuable metres. On the last tackle now, Stewart is kicked, not going to find touch, and Silver is faced with the job of bringing it back. Daly makes the tackle. Rod Silver back now on his own 10-metre line. Canterbury now faced with the prospect with 90 metres in front of them. That's where they've got to get it. Down the other end. Consolidate what foundation they've already built.
Stirring on the Canberra bench, Ruben Wiki ruled out of this game with the virus, and Luke DeVico will come to the sideline. Brett Hetherington, the player to come off, he's had an unhappy game with his hands.
So Jason Smith dummies and then tries to beat the tackle. Away on the 5th tackle off the boot of Dimmock, an ordinary kick. Walters is there to clean it up. Steve Walters, smothered by Terry Lamb. And a penalty goes to Canberra against the Canterbury captain.
Like it's Lomax leaving the field as that penalty goes to the Raiders. Centre field, 52 out, DeVico on, Wiki on. And Hetherington is also the player to leave, so there'll be a reshuffle. It'll be Boyle into the forwards.
Stewart now finding the line.
A lot of Canberra players advertising during the week. They had some special tap plays up their sleeve. Not normally a side to carry big plays into big games. Usually work on patterns of play through a set of 6 rather than just the one big play. Interesting to see what they come up with here.
Well, that's not a bad start from DeVico. Now Stewart works with Wesley. Wesley tackled 21 metres away from the Canterbury line. Now Furner probing for a gap in behind the play the ball. Walters into the hands of Stewart. Stewart fends off and then flick passes. And Wiki has come up with it for Canberra. 21 metres away from the line. And again, it is DeVico. 5 tackles gone for Canberra. Stewart goes to the blind. Daly, he puts the kick in. It came off Canterbury. It's play on. Looking for the line is Nagus. Well, he's ruled that the Canterbury player didn't play at the ball. Williams.
A short kick by Daly. It looked like a charge down of some description to me. And maybe I think he's erred there, the ref.
Jason Croker's moved into the forwards for the Raiders. Imagine he'll go to lock, pushing Clyde into the second row. DeVico, strong tackle. Bulldogs just need to compose themselves now, have a good set of 6. No mistakes. Newton drops the shoulder. Again, difficult to put down. A little bit of a problem in back play between Croker and Jim Dimmick. Ed Silver intervenes.
Lamb's kick, it might be too full. It is. And the touch judge comes in from the far side. This is about Croker and Dimmick. There was absolutely nothing in it.
There was nothing in it, but that's the pressure a great player puts on you. Brett Mullins back there with plenty of space, kicking from deep inside his own half. Terry Lamb trying to get the ball to the sideline and away from Mullins, off the outside edge of the boot, into touch on the full. And that's going to present a problem now for the Bulldogs.
That's a fact. Bradley Clyde, the man, he's been called out. He looked like he threw a punch. And the penalty has gone Canterbury's way.
Well, that's a huge bonus, an absolute huge bonus for Canterbury.
David Wesley has gone to the blood bin. Jason Deeth, jersey 19 on. Stephen Price has left the field after a tremendous game in the top grade. So much pressure on the youngster coming into this match for Robert Ralph. And looked like a veteran.
Jason Deeth. Tim Sheens must feel that the Canterbury forwards are getting a little tired around the rucks. He's an excellent runner from dummy half, very, very quick. This will push Steve Walters out into a running position on the edge of the ruck. But Jason Deeth from dummy half in broken play can really cause some problems for the Bulldogs.
Bulldogs then 35 metres away from their own line, with Jason Smith now running into a savage shoulder there from the replacement player, Jason Deeth. Now Britt turns it into the middle, and that's Gillies almost to the halfway line as they go to Terry Lamb on the right. It's bouncing up favourably for Mullins. He's coming away from his own 10-metre line and tries to hurdle them, pushes it away for Nagus, and Nagus is held on the 30-metre line.
Yeah, good reply by Mullins too. He knows that Lamb's looking for the sidelines, placed himself over there. Nagus got back to support. They nearly pulled one off from their own end.
Now, Daly and Stewart have opened up Canterbury for Clyde, and then a magnificent tackle by Hetherington. They work on the blind side. Stewart works with Nandruku. He gets the pass away. David Boyle is tackled.
Again, Hetherington there. He's all over the place, the number 9 for the Bulldogs. A big line now for the Raiders.
Furner. Oh, Daly. Beautiful hands by Daly. Back inside. Mullins. Mullins away. Wiki is with it. Holds up the pass. Nagus. He throws the pass. And it's gone off Canterbury. I think it's gone off the Bulldogs into touch.
Oh, they're starting to open up the Bulldogs. There's space out wide now. Daly's had a quiet match, but he's starting to weave some magic. It's good inside ball here. Mullins trailing. And look at the space out there now. Not enough troops there for the Bulldogs side. Silver did well.
Dangerous work on a day like this, but I think Canberra have found the key. They've got to take the ball to one far sideline and then get Laurie Daly very wide off those Stewart passes and just back their hands.
So here they come. Stewart has lost it on the first tackle. Canberra have got it back, but it'll be a knock-on against them.
That's 2 real pluses for Canterbury there. Terry Lamb kicked out on the full. They got a penalty on a touch judge decision. Now Ricky Stewart knocking on tackle 1 inside the opposition quarter.
So 6 tackles gone begging for Canberra. Dean Pay is getting ready to come back into the game. Timu wrapped up put down on his own 20-metre line. Darren Britt, 33 metres out from his own line. Now Dimmock. Put down heavily by Croker. Lamb gets his kick in. It might have come off the rump of Canberra's Ricky Stewart. Good hands by Mandruku. And he looks around for support, but it wasn't there.
What about that? There's all sorts of problems if Mandruku hadn't have come up with a great take. Toe through it, went off the back of Ricky Stewart, a missed kick by Jason Smith. And somehow Noah, he's just picked it up. Any problems.
Played his Neath coming away from dummy half.
He played in the slips for Fiji, Steve.
Walters. One of the most proficient dummy half runners in the game. 5 gone for them, Canberra. And Stewart goes high. Silver's underneath it. And he's... he lost it and got it back. Silver. 25 out from his own line.
Well, where's Rod from? He play from Malta or
Armenia. Absolutely brilliant stuff from Silver. The stuff he's capable of. Talented player.
Pay. Dimmock. Lamb trailing him through. Right on the halfway line. 22 and a half minutes to go. Canterbury by 5. Talking of 5, this is the last tackle coming up now for Terry Lamb. Stewart comes out of the line, puts a bit of pressure on Lamb. Mullins has his winger with him, Nagus. He's wrapped up over there by Jason Williams. Williams heading for Penrith next year. This is Wiki.
They're playing cat and mouse. Lamb and Mullins are trying to work each other out. That time Ricky Stewart did a real good job. Lamb had seen that Mullins was back to the left. Got a turnover here.
Well, that's a great tackle. It had to be made. It was David Boyle again. Canterbury had the numbers, and if Dimmock had been able to promote, there could have been another try on the board. But David Boyle, he was the man that snuffed it out.
I wonder whether Lamb might think field goal again here to put him 6 up and a chance of going 7 a little bit down the match. They've gone wide through Polomouta, who goose-stepped into the defence. A couple of tackles left up their sleeve, and we still have 20 minutes left on the clock.
This is Jason Smith taking play to the centre of the ground. Lamb is at first receiver. He's with it. Holds it back and floats it wide. Oh, how easy! What a beautiful pass! Oh, Terry! Why retire now?
Forget the field goal. Run the ball on the last tackle, throw a cut-out pass, and have the Canberra defence in 2 minds. This is what gave the Bulldogs the ball. Terry Lamb again forcing a mistake, this time from DeVico. Have a look at the outside defence. Lamb shakes the pass, throws it down, we freeze it there. This player came in, and that allowed Timu on the outside. It was just one misreading as play continues. And it was open spaces for John Timu. 1/4 of this match left.
Yeah, great speculator here from Terry Lamb. He's just hoiked it and hoping a blue and white jumper runs onto it. In the end, he's found Timu and the Canberra defence all over the place there. Andruku slipped.
It was David Boyle who was caught out by the pass, which is a shame because he's defended extremely well in this match.
Well, there's a lot of activity in the in-goal. Canberra team, Stewart and Daly are in the middle of that huddle down there. They are screaming their lungs out.
The knock on before the first tackle was completed from the scrum win for Canberra at the other end of the field only moments ago.
Halligan, it doesn't look too bad. It's there. Another 2 points for Canterbury. There's the scoreboard, 17-6 in favour of Canterbury-Bankstown. The Sydney Bulldogs are doing what not too many thought they would. 3 tries to 1, and they're leading over Canberra, the defending premiers. Halfway line, Canterbury on their first set of 6 since the restart. And put down is Jim Dimmick on 5. Hetherington. Let's Gillies go before Lamb puts in a kick, and Magus is there to cover him. He's running towards Mullins. He finds Mullins. Mullins tries to step back through the traffic. But there are blue and white jumpers everywhere.
There's another notch now. The Bulldogs, they know that they're less than 18 minutes away from a grand final position. There was an object lesson there for all youngsters in that last try as the Raiders go wide through Daly, who comes up with another mistake. Terry Lamb holding the football out in front of him. Could have done anything with the ball. Could have kicked, could have thrown the long pass like he did, picked up a support player, and straight away the defence was in 2 minds. That was instrumental in David Boyle making the wrong decision. He had no idea what Terry Lamb was going to do because of the way Lamb was carrying the football.
Laurie Daly trying to force the pass. Canberra are in that situation. Canterbury winning the scrum. Polomounder goes wide for Matthew Ryan. Ryan taken down by Daly. Timu. This is Williams. No dummy half. Jason Hetherington has to sprint across to fill that vacancy. Darren Britt gives it back for Hetherington. He's met and tackled 30 metres away from the Canberra line. The Raiders in big trouble. 17-6 down. A great side, but can they get out of this with 16 and a half on the clock? 22 metres out from the line, 5 tackles. Terry Lamb into the air. It's a good bomb. Mullins is under it. Stewart ran decoy for him. Well, I hate to say it, but really, you can't do what Ricky Stewart just did. He got away with it, though.
Not only the best wet weather footballer in the world, but a very good thinker, Terry Lamb. He now knows the pressure's on Canberra to respond, and he's just not giving them any ball at Canterbury's end of the field. He's putting them down there in the corners, getting his side up there in their face tackling. As long as they don't miss tackles or give away penalties from here, Canberra have got to try and play it from their own end of the field, and as we've seen it coming up with mistakes. Canterbury are right on top, and Canberra, they're looking for excuses at this time.
And Steve Walters. Oh, Albert Fullerby. He's on for David Boyle, and he offers a mistake. So, the Bulldogs, everything is going perfectly for them.
Well, the last 3 times Canberra had the football, they've dropped it, knocked it on inside their own half.
In the run into the semi-finals, Canberra really didn't play any of the top sides. In fact, the last time they played a top side, you've got to go back to the time when they were flogged by Cronulla at Caltex Field on a Saturday night, some 38 points to 12. So they haven't had to handle pressure situations. The Canberra-Brisbane semi-final last week, I didn't think was as good as most people thought, and it's being shown up today under pressure, but they just haven't had the intensity of football they should have desired.
So the Bulldogs now probing that Canberra line, looking to put it well beyond Canberra's reach. Hetherington has had a superb game for Canterbury.
Field goal this time, Sterling.
12 metres out. They set it up. Britt, and now Pay. And this is Dimmick. And now Gillies knocks on. And a scrum will go down.
Oh, I think Terry Lamb was looking for that football then from the dummy half. Went to a forward instead.
Just repeating for you people in Brisbane. The match tomorrow live into the Northern Capital at 2:30. Canberra. With Magus losing it. It's play on for the Bulldogs. They come to the left of the ground. Darren Britt gets a pass away. Dean Pay dummies. Stands on the 10-metre line. Jason Smith is dummy half. Ward waves Canberra back and away out of it. Now Smith. 5 metres from the line. Terry Lamb pushes on. Dimmick holds it back. Gives it down for Silver. Silver angles back. Lamb now, dummy high. Cross for big Darren Britt. Then he gives it for Jason Hetherington. It comes down and a knock on against Canberra, I think. Now he's called Mullins out. might be wrong, but I think he's ruled a knock-on against Canberra.
Yeah, that's a call.
And that has riled Brett Mullins.
Very frustrating when you're 11 points behind on the scoreboard and all you're doing is defending your own goal line. Canberra have got to get down to basics now and try and get the ball to the other end of the field simply and hope for a little bit of pressure on Canterbury to force a loose ball. They can't keep playing it from their own end of the field. The Canterbury defence is too intense for them.
Last year's grand finalists, with the situation totally reversed from round 6 this year. Darren Brett doesn't get many raps. I'll tell you what, they are broad shoulders. Lamb turns it in. Dean Pay, the enforcer. He dealt out plenty in the first half. Now, was there a marker? He's penalised Ricky Stewart. So Daryl Halligan will settle things down and take a shot at goal.
Yeah, this could be the end of Canberra in 1995. Halligan can make sure of this, take them to the 13-point lead. Touch and go situation, this penalty given by Eddie Ward. Dean Pay looking to play the ball forward. Stewart never marking up. Did he get there in time? Doesn't look like it.
Daryl Halligan will put the Sydney Bulldogs out of the reach of Canberra if he raises the flags here. 18 metres out, 18 off centre, and the flags are up. Halligan sends the Bulldogs 19-6. Football Stadium reminding you of the scoreline, 19-6. And you didn't see it wrongly. Canterbury are leading Canberra. One thing I meant to mention as we watch this mistake offered by the Bulldogs, Phil Gould, Terry Lamb seems to have taken it upon himself not to let them become inhibited, a la Cronulla.
Exactly, he's kept them pushing the ball around. What you've got to do is, the people who are dangerous in the opposition side are the people like the Madukus and the Nagases and the Rickies, the Dailies. You've got to keep them coming up with plenty of work in defence. That way when they get the ball, it takes them a ruck or two to compose themselves. If they're not doing any defence, as soon as you turn the ball over, they spring into action and you're caught napping. So, good lesson learned. Terry Lamb, a master at it. He will not let this side go negative.
Well, Terry, of course, would have vivid recollections of St George doing that to him. In a semi-final, I think it was 1992, where they drained him in defence to the point that his attack suffered. I think he'd made 23 tackles come half-time. The man we're talking about, Terry Lamb. Canberra, 15 out from the Canterbury line. Daly rolls it in. Silva. And an appeal there from Nandruku.
I know it's scored a few tries during the semi-final series, but it's virtually been putting up the white flag from Canberra from very early in the game that they've been frustrated with this Canterbury defence. Going to Laurie Daly with little option but to put the ball in behind and just hope for a bounce or something to happen. I know it's produced a few tries, but it's not Canberra's normal go. They've been playing very frustrated today, a side that hasn't enjoyed top intensity competition for some time. And, I think they've let this one get away mentally in their preparation for the game. It's quite obvious. Football's a funny game. You've got to have complete respect for everybody, and unfortunately Canberra just weren't ready today when they turned up.
Ricky Stewart is injured in back play. He went in to make a tackle, an unorthodox type tackle. He's getting attention, Ricky Stewart, at the moment as Nandruku is parcelled up. Well, they said coming into the Canberra-Brisbane quarterfinal, Canberra involved in a court case. Some of their players, it wasn't the right preparation. It proved to be okay. That tackle's okay. And of course this week we've had Canterbury involved in the same sort of thing. So maybe Gus, when you're preparing the Roosters next year, you might find a court case for them.
I think we'll all be in court for the next 12 months. Ricky Stewart has changed his defensive style in the last 12 months. We've seen him sprinting out of the line, a la Alan Langer and these types of players, but he's got into that nasty habit of throwing his legs into the opposition. It's not his normal defensive position. He's been down injured a couple of times through knocks that he's had. A player of that calibre, you'd be looking to protect him and not do much defence at all, just stay there to run the side around. Ricky Stewart's had to take a change. In fact, Canberra's changed their whole defensive style, and under pressure today, it just hasn't stood up.
Jason Williams is on his own 20-metre line. 19-6. The Sydney Bulldogs in front of the Canberra Raiders. And Rod Silver has given us a couple of palpitations during the match, but he has done some wonderful things, Rod Silver. Just inside the 30-metre line, and some ice there for the shoulder of Brad Clyde. Now Lamb. Was he on the ground? We didn't have a clear view of it from here in the stands. Dimmick. Lamb. For Mullins. Back on his own line. Gillies leading the chase, and he's after him, and he catches him.
Great chase from Simon Gillies. That's what Terry Lamb's been trying to avoid all day. Mullins feeling him run around the opposition on the kick return, and Gillies had a big play to do there because no one had come up on the right-hand side of the field. Mullins was around him and Nagas were off.
Well, 31 tackles, 15 hit-ups to Simon Gillies. Mile of work rate there, and all quality stuff. He's hit hard in defence. He's really back-slammed a few of these Canberra players, and they've been looking for him. Daly goes wide.
As we said in the Telegraph Mirror this morning, I thought it was his responsibility to look after Daly rather than Terry Lamb. Everyone expecting the match-up between the two great 5'8s. But Simon Gillies has hound-dogged him all day. He's been in his face, and Laurie Daly just hasn't had the opportunities he normally would have enjoyed, hasn't had the space, and has had to resort to the grubber kick. We've seen him try to force balls out in tackles a number of times. No, they're on the bus to Canberra.
Well, Laurie Daly's face tells the story. Second time for Laurie Daly. That was more embarrassing than the first. It happened for Ricky Stewart earlier.
I can tell you too, Terry Lamb will be looking for a big finish to this game. If they can score another try in the dying moments, that will just give them such momentum going into the decider next week in the grand final. Terry Lamb won't let this game fizzle out. He'll be looking for some sort of finish, just so that they can all hug each other in the end goal and say, hey boys, next week we can get a chance to win a comp.
Haven't they got a daunting record, Canterbury? They joined in 1935, and they've been to the semi-finals 26 times. Ward will call it back for the scrum.
Got to give Terry Lamb a lot of the credit for the development of these Canterbury players. He's always encouraged them to unload a ball. Here he's right behind Darren Britt. You can see he knows where Darren Britt's left arm is going to produce the ball. He's always there encouraging the short pass. Legs probably not as quick as they were, but the brain seems to get in there quickly enough. Dean Pay, Jason Smith, Jim Dimmick, Darren Britt, Mitch Newton, all encouraged by Terry Lamb to unload the ball, and he backs it up by putting his body in the hole for them to give it to him. He's been a great player for this club for a long time.
Ruben Wiki now, who didn't start the game. David Boyle started. Wiki brought on as a replacement. Stewart turning it back to the blind side. And just as they had outnumbered Canterbury, Jason Croker loses his footing. Now Lomax, reminded that the game is not over for Canterbury yet. They still drive in defence.
Canberra are a side that are gifted with so many great individual talents, but they're not a difficult side to read where the ball is going. You've really only got to look for Stewart and Daly to get an idea of the positioning of the players. From then it's just matching them individually with their talents. It's not an easy task, but with the enthusiasm in Canterbury's defence, the important part is they've got numbers there all day in front of Canberra's options. They're not a hard side to read, Canberra.
Now Halligan, taken by Croker, 12 metres away from the Canterbury line. He's talking about that impressive record of Canterbury. Brett Dallas showered and dressed in the Canterbury civilian clothes already. Jim Dimmick
Listen, get a report on Brett Dallas. We saw him cop a whack around the head from Brett Mullins as he put a kick through, but as Paul pointed out, doing a leg problem there as well as that pass has gone forward.
Terry Lamb searching for the big finish, running the ball on tackle 5 again. Backing up on the inside, little flick passes. They're just looking for something to give them that big surge into the grand final. They'll be happy with the win, but it'd be nice to get another one on the board just to ram it home.
Since Rugby League went to the 5-team semi-finals in 1973, Canterbury have been in the series 15 times. That is incredible, really. You've only missed the finals 7 times in 22 years. So you are the lucky club, really, in many regards.
Well, I don't know about lucky, it's just been good management. And the one thing they have been able to do is that when they weren't making the semis, they didn't drop off the pace. They only just missed the semis, were 7th, 8th on the table. They still gave themselves a chance to be close enough to the top sides. An infusion of a couple of new players and development of some youngsters. It wasn't that much of a hill they had to climb to get back into semi-final playoffs.
Been a big couple of days for the club. Terry Lamb celebrated his 34th birthday. The chief executive resigning his position. Darren Brett. So Canterbury-Bankstown are in the grand final. As Terry Lamb reached it in the air. It came off the fingertips of Halligan. And it will be a turnover for Canberra to restart the play.
Well, if Manly can get over the top of Newcastle tomorrow, that will be the first city-based grand final we've had for some years, Peter. Canberra and Brisbane dominating it over the last 5 or 6 seasons. Newcastle, of course, will have something to say about that tomorrow.
Yeah, I can't write off the Knights. I know they've got plenty of players that have been busted, but the simple fact is they're not going to be any more hurt than what they are at the moment, and they know what the pot of gold is at the end of that 80-minute rainbow tomorrow.
Tremendous feeling to come into these big games and everyone riding you off and knowing in your own heart that you can win the game and win it well. Having been involved with Canterbury a number of years, you could just sense that today they really believe they could win. You don't beat Canberra unless you believe you can.
Phil Levi has Daly on his right, but he runs into the shoulder of Rod Silver. Silver had Daly and Phil Levi to contend with, and he met that and came out on top. Price intercepts for Canterbury. Polonau's on his left. Gillies! Gillies! He's going to get number 2! Gillies scores again!
And no more deserving player in the paddock. The face of the Canberra Raiders tells it all. The face of the Bulldogs tells another story. Great stuff by the Bulldogs. Magnificent performance by them today. And Simon Gillies, what a game he's had. On hand to score that last try as Price took the intercept.
He's chased absolutely everything this afternoon, Simon Gillies. He's done a lot of tackles, but some of his important plays have been away from the football, and great to see young Stephen Price involved here. He has lost no cast at all with the people he's been out there with this afternoon. A youngster from Toowoomba, spent a lot of time in the lower grades with the Bulldogs, had some doubts whether he was going to go on and make it. But in this afternoon's performance, this won't be the first semi-final he'll be involved in.
There was a try for the defence from Canterbury. Coming up with a loose pass, being able to run it back, Canberra, all the energy gone, no chase. Simon Gillies said last week he could have been a marathon runner. He'd have run that all the way back to Belmore if they'd have let him, just to keep the football.
A great finish for Simon Gillies. And the conversion successful from Daryl Halligan. The Sydney Bulldogs are in the grand final. They've won the grand final 6 times. They've lost it 7. They get another opportunity, number 14. 25-6. 4 tries to 1. They were absolutely magnificent. Lamb at the 24th, Gillies at the 32nd, Timu at the 59th, and Gillies again as the full-time siren sounded. Halligan kicked 3 from 5. Mullins scored the only try for Canberra. Incredible effort by the Bulldogs, stretching their unbeaten run to 5 and doing it at the right end of the year. Beware of the Dogs is the message for Manly and Newcastle. They're in the grand final. The other two have to fight it out. We'll come back to summarise today with Peter and Paul in just a moment.
Sydney Football Stadium. The Sydney Bulldogs will be there next week after a tremendous victory over the reigning premiers Canberra, 25 points to 6 this afternoon at the Football Stadium. They did it in style. Simon Gillies got 2, Lamb and Timu scored tries, Terry Lamb a field goal, Daryl Halligan 4 from 6, while Brett Mullins was the sole scorer for the Raiders try-wise, and David Furner kicked a 1 from 3 to bring up the points for the Raiders. Just a great performance. So good in defence, but when they had the football, they were prepared to attack this Bulldog side. A lot of heroes for them, but the man who we chose as our man of the match, a player who really not one of their higher profile players and doesn't get the raps he deserves. Tremendous to see him taking out this award. He is now with Steve Roach.
The $1,000 Ansett Australia the match. 2-try heroes, Simon Gillies. Congratulations, Simon. Going into the game, a big job for you to try and control Laurie Daly. You did that well today.
Yeah, a big job for everyone to try and control Laurie. Sorry. Big job for anyone to control Canberra, really. Laurie's not the only one. Their forwards stuck it to us and we held out.
Did you think the competition of the last couple of weeks in the semi-finals have helped the Doggies? Canberra going into that game, no real hard games going into that big semi.
Well, it's pretty obvious we wouldn't have beaten Canberra in that fashion, 2 months ago. We're in the Daltons a bit as far as toughness and point scoring goes. We came off 2 hard games, as you say, and we're just treating them as a bonus. And the longer we play, the bigger the bonus, I suppose. Canberra, I don't think they were flat at all. I don't think they struggled for form or fitness or anything. So 2 good teams, I guess. Bounce of the ball went to us today.
Yeah, straight into the grand final. Obviously, the understanding between the pack, unbelievable. I don't think it'll happen to you again, getting beat in the grand final.
Well, we certainly hope not, Blocker. We haven't thought about it. We've been one game training every week. We just go to training, think about one game. This week, another game on the boards to dissect, try and work something out for. I don't think we'll dissect it too much. We'll probably just go out the same fashion we have been.
All right, mate. Congratulations. Enjoy the win, mate, and good luck next week.
Thanks very much, Steve.
One of the ultimate professionals in the Winfield Cup is Simon Gillies. Tremendous work rate in both attack and defence. He was chasing as well at the end of the game as he was at the beginning. And interesting to note that he said that Canberra no excuses. They didn't play well, but they played as well as they were allowed to.
Oh, they got hammered, Pete. Canterbury were just brilliant today. Simon Gillies, 35 tackles, 17 hit-ups in the match, got 2 tries. And just ahead of Jason Hetherington, he had a great game around the rucks too. Terry Lamb, a host of wonderful players there for the Bulldogs. And Newcastle Manly sitting back, they know they've got a big job ahead of them next week.
We mentioned Terry Lamb. He was very good again this afternoon. I'm sure that he's delighted going through to another grand final. He's now with Andrew Voss.
Well, Terry, can you believe this? The fairy tale is unfolding and through to the grand final.
Yeah, it's a fairy tale that, I knew we had a chance against St George. Everybody rid us off against Brisbane, and now Canberra, everybody rid us off as well. We had a couple of bucks on ourselves, and I don't know if you're allowed to do that, but who cares?
Is it true that you've been saying that 2 weeks out from the semi-finals, from the quarter-finals, you didn't even believe it was worth the Bulldogs making it? Their form was just that it really wasn't worthwhile.
Of course, our form was very ordinary mid-season. We scored 66 points against the Cowboys our last game, and maybe that was just a bit of a stepping stone towards these semi-finals. Our defence held that day, and we started believing in ourselves. The ball held. In the season, the ball just wasn't coming off for us. The bounce wasn't falling for us, and it was just frustrating. I think that's where it comes from.
11-0, everything's travelling well at half-time, but then the twinkling of an eye, it's an 11-6. What were you thinking?
Nothing. We were ahead. We didn't have to score any points, and we knew we had a defence to keep them out. And pretty lucky to throw a ball to Johnny Timu, who had a good step to go through.
Don't care who you play next week?
Who cares? Mate, we're there.
Very good luck.
Thanks very much.
It's just not going to be the same without Terry Lamb running around for Canterbury next year. Another great game this afternoon.